Welcome back to the Two Alphas Talk. Today we're going to discuss cheap guns, whether you should buy them and what happens when you do buy them. One of the things that we see a lot of times is people call it entry-level firearms. There's no such thing. There's competition guns and there's guns that you carry every day. There's self-defense guns, then that's when you buy it and you set it up for that. And some of the manufacturers are marketing guns now to specifically self-defense, and they have gizmos and things to make things a little bit more user-friendly. But there are no really entry-level guns. So when you look at prices, it's what you can afford. I say that, but at the same time, I don't think a $180 budget gun is reliable. I know it's not reliable. I've taken classes and I've seen people in classes with me that those guns break down and they have catastrophic malfunction on a 500 round plus course. It's not going to happen. So those are the things that you have to pay attention to. Save your money. If you can't afford to buy something that's $500, save your money. You don't need it right away. If you're living in a war zone that you need a gun right now, you're already screwed. It ain't about going out and spending $200 on a gun. If you can't afford a brand new gun, buy a used gun to get started. Buy a used quality gun. The quality manufacturers are out there. You can look them up. There are other YouTubers who will tell you exactly what it is. We don't get into calling names of one gun or the other. We have our preferences. All three of us are carrying the same gun right now. If you want to look at the video and see, we're all carrying the same manufacturer that's in Smyrna, Georgia. So other than that, you know, it's up to you. We're not mentioning no names, though. We're just pinpointing for you.
Yeah, I agree, and then I'd also say, to counter on what you said in terms of the cost of the firearms, and then trying to get it, and saving your money and things. And I personally sell firearms at Forest Park Army Navy. I always tell people, if you don't see what you want exactly, wait until you can buy exactly what it is that you want. Don't just buy something just because you want something. And like Al said, if you're in a war zone, whatever you can find is what you need to be using. But if you aren't in a war zone, which the majority of us are not, and you have the time to do research and save your money up, save your money and get something that's of quality. Don't get something that, is going to jam after the second round that you put down range. That's just not worth it, because then you're going to end up spending so much more money trying to get something that you really do want, or that is up to par.
Right.
And you already have spent at least 25% of your cash sometimes on something that isn't even worth it.
And then when you try to resell that piece of junk you bought in the first place, you're only going to get $50 for it.
If that.
if that. Because nobody wants that piece of junk. That's why you got it so cheap. So if you can't remember, some places still have the layaway program. You can go in there and do a 90-day layaway program if you can't do that. If it's that, but if you're spending a couple $100 on cigarettes a month, or you got some other vice, liquor or whatever, and you saying you can't afford a gun, well, stop drinking, stop smoking, stop doing with other stuff, and take that money and put it aside, and there's your gun money.
If only for a small amount of time.
Right. It is. And buy you something good, spend a good quality money in it. Don't go overboard, and you'll be doing pretty good. You'll have your first firearm.
Right, and on top of that, when you look at it, most people, when you hear this word entry-level firearm, if you enter, that means you have levels of elevation. There is no such thing. You can buy exactly what you want right from the very beginning and be satisfied with that for time goes on. If you get into one of these entry-level guns and you get suckered into that and you shoot it, then you realize the damn thing's too big, it's unwieldy, the top heavy, yada, yada, yada. Now what you do? You spend $200 on this, now you got to spend another $200 to buy something better, which is $400. As Al said, you get $50 for the first one, so you lost $150, so you got to recoup all. It's retarded.
Yeah. You probably bought holsters and all that stuff for it.
The old adage, buy once, cry once.
Right. And you don't want to have something cheap when you pull it out and got to use it in real life, and it doesn't work. And now you're like, what the hell? Now it becomes a expensive paperweight, because you're going to have to use it to try to beat off whoever's about to try to beat you up.
Now it becomes a BFR, BF Rock.
Buy what you want, and if you don't see it, just save
wait.
your money and wait.
And you not only that, but the internet is vast. So if you are living in a particular area, you can search the inventory for most stores And if not, you can go the old-fashioned way and call them on the telephone before you actually show up at the store to find out if they have the particular firearm that you're interested in. And if they don't, just wait.
Yeah.
Hell,
Right.
you can order it online now.
Go to
Yep.
these pawn shops. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's out of work right now,
Mhm.
and go to the pawn shops and see what they got, and offer them a deal. You know,
Yeah.
if they got a gun in there for 500, offer them 400 and see what happens.
And it's funny, I just told somebody this recently who goes to all the gun shows, and he keeps telling me he's not finding the deals anymore. I said, the same energy that you use to go to multiple gun shows, go to your local gun store.
Yeah.
Once they see you coming more than once, they start to become a little friendly with
Yep.
you, have
And
conversations
most-
with them, and you're
Absolutely.
spending money at one particular place.
And now I may be wrong or right, but most gun shops, if you go in there with cash and say, "Hey, I give you this for it," they agree to it sometimes.
That absolutely
time of
works.
the month, too.
That
Yeah.
absolutely
It
works.
depends
Yeah.
on what time of the month it is. If the things are going slow, and again, if you're frequent it, they may say, "Hey, we're trying to get rid of this. You've been looking at it. What do you want to do?"
Right.
You know, and let me make a deal with it. But
And if you got cash, don't go in there and no cards.
No.
if you
no.
if you
Cash.
keep going
Cash.
chasing the gun shows, and they're fine. I like having fun at gun shows, but you're not gonna find the deal that you're looking
Not anymore.
for. Not anymore.
Not
No, because they got
Not
they
in
know
this
they're
time.
at the top of the mountain.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, they just bending you over
Exactly. Yeah.
and smiling, slapping you in the back of the head.
Mhm.
And
Make
so,
you feel like you got something when you really didn't.
Right.
Right. So, things to think about. You know, ask some questions if you guys want to. That's a pretty good subject. And if these videos get pulled off of YouTube, we're on or Instagram. We're on Rumble, Parler, and
Frank.
Frank.
gonna be Frank coming
On
up
Monday.
soon on Monday. So we'll see you on the range. All right.
All right.
Howdy.